What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live episode of Catching Up with Cody. I'm your host, as always, Cody. This is another, like I said, live 9 o'clock show. I am also potentially trying to work this out here, streaming on TikTok as well. So hopefully, sorry, just trying to get that started here. Perfect. All right. So yes, we are currently streaming on both YouTube and TikTok today. So kind of moving up in the world, I guess you could say. So, but thank you guys for tuning in and joining. Like I said, I do this every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We talk sports. Usually I have a guest on, but since today is Memorial Day, was going to do a solo episode. That way everybody can spend time with their families and everything, and not have any obligations. So next week we will have on a guest, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. If you guys could give me a follow, like, subscribe, share out the channel. You can follow me at Catching Up with Cody. Got the follow everything on the bottom, and also when we do the lives. So thank you guys for tuning in, and let's get this going. I want to start off, obviously, first off by saying Happy Memorial Day to everybody. It's finally nice here in Michigan, so got to enjoy the weather and everything. We did went to the parade downtown and just kind of did some yard work, spent the day outside. Obviously, like I said, because now it finally is nice here in Michigan. So hopefully you guys got to, spend some time with your family and friends. Hopefully you guys went up north, had some fun. Um, but yeah, it was a good day for sure today. So let's obviously get into, we're going to talk some NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and everything like that. Obviously, if you're a Pistons fan, obviously we are eliminated as we talked about last week. Um, but as a basketball fan, you have the Eastern and Western Conference. Obviously, one side better than the other. The West is a good series. The East, unfortunately, is not. So, but yeah, let's get into some sports here. First off, got some sad news coming out of NASCAR. Unfortunately, Kyle Busch has passed away at the age of 41. Was very shocking and very sad when I heard that news. Um, Unfortunately, it looks like he had a illness. He just raced, I believe, 2 weeks ago, and now unfortunately has passed. So prayers to him and his family. Like I said, I was very shocked to hear that. Um, they had a race this weekend and honored him a couple different ways. So that was good to see everybody coming together for Kyle Busch. But yeah, very, very sad news, unfortunately, coming out of NASCAR. So, all right, well, let's get into obviously my favorite sport, which is basketball. Like we said, unfortunately, the Pistons have been eliminated, but we do have a Eastern Conference. I know the series doesn't say that it's a good series. The New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers currently are playing right now as we speak. Well, the New York Knicks are. The Cavaliers, I think, forgot how to show up. But it is 61-37 New York. It's not even halftime yet. So that's crazy. Um, Looks like New York will get the sweep here, which is it's good for New York. Obviously, they want to get in, get rested, and get ready for the NBA Finals because it will be tough with that Western Conference, like we're going to talk about. Um, but yeah, I mean, New York just came in and absolutely demolished these guys. I mean, Jalen Brunson's playing out of his mind. I thought with how the Pistons played against the Cavs, I thought the Cleveland was going to put up a fight. But unfortunately, it does not look like that is going to happen. So, as they say, get the brooms ready and warm up the buses because Cleveland is going home and they don't have to go very far because it is a home game. So they are looking like they will be eliminated unless something happens between now and the end of the game. But 61 points barely. We're still halfway through the second quarter. So, yeah, I don't see this one changing. So, I wrote a couple things down with this game. It was funny. I did write "get the brooms out," and obviously that will be happening tonight. So, um, Yeah, I know. I I feel like a couple people say, how the New York and the Pistons game last year, that series. Honestly, I think the same thing would be happening to Detroit. That's happening to Cleveland. I think New York would sweep us. Um, Talked about it before. We can't win at home, and I mean, New York is just awesome. They're coming off that, you know, good series against Atlanta, so they're well rested. Cleveland had 2 back-to-back game 7s. So, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing Cleveland's gonna be able to do, even if they come back here. I don't think I mean, they might if they come back this game, maybe they'll win 1, but that's really it, and obviously, with the score happening right now, I don't see that happening. So, but, they've said no team has come back from 3-0. It's not gonna happen tonight, so that's gonna be another series that's gonna go 3-0 or 4-0, sorry. And I was saying too, if they do end up winning, they gotta go back to Madison Square Garden, which it's impossible to, win in Madison Square Garden. So I don't think Cleveland's coming back from this one. I think New York is going to be your NBA Finals team from the East, so we will see how that pans out in the NBA on that side. On the West side, which is a lot better, we have obviously the Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs. Great series. I mean, it has been a back and forth battle of these two teams. Obviously, you have MVP and Shea, and you have Wemby, who is just a complete monster. 2-2 series. So they are playing tomorrow in OKC at 8:30. So I'm definitely going to tune into that one um, for a little bit there. But yeah, I can definitely see this series going 7 for sure. I honestly wish that this was the NBA Finals because it would be a lot better than what I think we're going to see in the NBA Finals. Um, because both of these teams are going to obviously demolish New York. New York just doesn't have the talent that these two teams have. The height, the size, I mean the depth, everything. So yeah, definitely going to be tough for New York to play on either of these teams. Wemby is currently averaging a double double, which doesn't seem like impossible for him. So, a couple other players is Stephon Castle. I don't know if anybody saw it the other night, but his slam dunk on Isaiah Hartenstein, absolutely crazy. I mean, he made him look so small. It's just a great young team. Sorry, I'm still getting over my sickness, so my voice keeps going in and out. I did see too, which I thought was a crazy stat, that Wemby is averaging 3.9 blocks per game. I mean, there's teams that don't even average that amount, and he is doing that by himself. So the dude's an animal. I mean, an absolute animal. It's absolutely insane how good he is as a player. Um, really wish Detroit could get him, but that unfortunately is not happening. So and let's keep talking a little bit of basketball. Going on to we're gonna talk the hometown Pistons here. Like I said, we did get eliminated. Um, but it's off season time. I know they got some work to do. There's a couple, what ifs kind of going on. You have Jalen Duran obviously with his contract and everything. Is he gonna get one? Is it gonna be with Detroit? Is it not gonna be with Detroit? So my opinion still is do not give him that max contract. I know he officially was able to get a max contract now. He was officially able to get a max contract now due to making the All NBA team. So, but I still don't think we get it. I think we throw out a number there, kind of negotiate with him back and forth. I've also talked to people about maybe doing a sign and trade. There is some players that are out there. They're talking Kyrie, Kawhi, Laurie Markkinen. and Michael Porter Jr. Um, you know, I definitely wrote a big no for Kyrie Irving and Kawhi Leonard just because of the age and everything like that. I mean, yeah, obviously these players in their prime I would take no problem. But they're too old right now to be on the team. It's a lot of money, obviously. So I'm not a huge fan of them uh bringing in either of those guys. Laurie Markkinen, I am kind of cool with. He's on a cheaper deal, and he definitely can shoot outside the paint. That's what we need. Is we need, obviously Jalen Duren's very athletic, um, and everything like that. But I don't see like he can't shoot outside of like dunking, alley oops, and stuff like that. Um, so I can see us bringing in Laurie Markkinen. Definitely a guy that can, like I said, can shoot farther than just dunks and layups. So I wouldn't mind bringing him in, possibly doing the sign and trade there. Michael Porter Jr. would also be a nice addition to our team. He's young. I can see him wanting out of Brooklyn. And yeah, I mean, I can see if we do bring in Michael Porter Jr., I can see Tobias Harris unfortunately leaving, which might not be bad as far as him, because of the age. But sorry, I didn't have the chats up. I am falling apart this episode. Um, who do you think will win? If we're talking NBA Finals, I have probably it's going to be between the Thunder and the Spurs. Whoever comes out of that one, I believe, will be the NBA Finals winner. Feels like what happened to us in Game 7. Yes, for sure. Agreed to be very surprised if the winner of the Western Conference does not win the title. Yes, I agree with that statement. Like I said, I don't think New York is able to keep up with the skill, the height, and all of that of of the two Western teams. They could find a way to get Trey Murphy. Yeah, I did see that too. I'm not too familiar with his like how he plays and everything. I know he can be like kind of a stretch four. Um, so that wouldn't be bad to have him either. Let's look up some of his stats. Like I said, I haven't really followed him too much. And again, sorry guys, I'm still not feeling the greatest from whatever the heck is going on. I've been let's do so the last 2 years to 5, he's averaged 21 and a half points both years, 5 rebounds, 3. So he's consistent. He's consistent. He can shoot the 3, 37%. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind bringing him in either. I think a lot of it is, like I said, I think it is going to be a sign and trade deal. Just because I don't know. I don't really want to bring Jalen Duren back due to the money. Would be great to see a Detroit team go all in on a trade. Yeah, that's why I think a lot of people are leaning more toward like the Kyrie or the Kawhi trade. Um, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if we do win now, cool. But I think bringing in like a Kyrie or a Kawhi Leonard, like you got to give up too much of the future in order to um win now. So like, is it worth the one championship now, and then we're back to rebuild for years? So you got to kind of put that into perspective as well. But yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't mind doing a win now, for sure. So, and still speaking of the Pistons, like I said, Jalen Duren did get all NBA third team, so he is now able to get that max contract. Cade Cunningham got all NBA first team, which is awesome. I mean, obviously well deserved for sure for Cade. Um, I'm worried. I'm worried if we don't kind of keep this momentum going. We can't get bounced early like we did this year. I'm worried that Cade might leave again. So we got to kind of figure that out as well. Obviously he's doing a lot for the team. So now the rest of the team has to kind of step up and be that, the number two. I mean, that's what we need for this team is a number two for sure. So, but yeah, a lot of trade talks, a lot of rumors, and who knows for the Pistons for next year. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to keep keep seeing what's going on, and hopefully we can make playoffs. And I mean, I don't see us doing 60 wins again, but I see us being at the top of the Eastern Conference again for sure. So, all right, before I go into my next topic, I kind of want to shout out who my next guest is going to be. Next week on June 1st, obviously on live YouTube and TikTok here at 9 p.m. on Monday, we are going to have the 411 podcast. I've seen a lot of their stuff through the Sports Reel. I've been in contact with them a lot. It's going to be fun. I mean, they're a big Lions podcast, so I'm excited to have them on. There is two that do the podcast, so hopefully we are able to get both. Still kind of working on scheduling and everything as far as that. But yeah, if you guys would, turn on your notification bell and everything, tune in next Monday for the 411 podcast right here on Catching Up with Cody Live. It's going to be a good one. So, and also, if my voice decides to get any better, tomorrow I'm going to be in studio again with the Sports Reel podcast live. I'm excited to see that. Excited to be there. 6:45 Eastern. That is going to be on YouTube. So check us out there, YouTube and Facebook. Love hanging out with those guys. So always a good time talking sports. And actually, it's kind of nice now that I do this Monday episode of like kind of getting the flow and everything, and then going on their podcast and kind of chatting it up and going from there. So, yes, please check that out. Like I said, next Monday, June 1st, we have the 411 podcast. And tomorrow, I will be on the Sports Reel podcast. So please check both of those out. All right, now we're going to turn into a little bit of the NHL playoffs. I've been trying to pay attention to those, but obviously, since basketball is still going on, I kind of lean more toward the basketball before I lean toward NHL. But we have the Avalanche versus the Knights. Supposed to be a big series. I was kind of looking at going into this series, and that obviously has not been the case. So Colorado was a heavy favorite in this series. They have not been playing like it. They are on the verge of being upset. They're on the verge of being swept. It's a whole lot of not going well for the Colorado Avalanche. Like I said, they are down 3-0. Yesterday they played. They were up 3-0 in the first period, and ended up losing 5-3 in regulation. So yeah, that definitely was kind of a shock. I saw some highlights and everything, and everybody was like, Colorado's got this. They're coming back. Maybe it was just a little hiccup, them losing those first two games. No, they couldn't even hold on to their 3-0 lead. Like I said, they ended up losing 5-0, and now they are down 3-0 to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Eric over on TikTok says Golden Knights to the Stanley Cup. Yeah, it was actually funny you bring that up. I can definitely see it. The sad thing is like, does the Vegas Golden Knights win 2 championships before Detroit even makes it back to the playoffs? Because that's definitely sad. And, they started in 2017. I learned that. I really thought it was earlier than that or later than that, but 2017 they started in the league. So they have been, they won the Stanley Cup their first year, and then now they're potentially on the verge of winning again. So that's kind of sad as a Detroit fan that this new expansion team, probably unfortunately. Yes. It's kind of sad to see that an expansion team has already played and doing a lot better than the Detroit Red Wings are. So sad to see that, but I think that that'll happen, unfortunately. And then we have the next game, which is the Carolina Hurricanes and the Canadians 1-1 series. So that one's a little bit of a closer series, not as you know, boring. At least there's some game to watch. Haven't paid too much close attention to this one. But I did hear that the Hurricanes are like one of the top teams to be going to the NHL playoffs or NHL finals, the Stanley Cup finals. Um, so hopefully, I remember, as a kid, I remember Carolina not being the greatest team. So kind of cool to see them up there. Hopefully, you know, we'll see. Maybe they can win it. I did see that the last time though a Canadian team won the championship was 1993, which is insane because I feel like obviously hockey I feel like is more of a Canadian, well, at least in the beginning it was a Canadian sport. Um but it's also tough too. There's only two Canadian teams compared to the rest of the league is in the states. So, but yeah, I mean, could the Canadians make history for the first time in what is that 33? Yeah, 33 years. So, definitely some history in the making for that one as well. So, we will see what happens out of there. I'm going to make my prediction right here. I'm thinking it's going to be Golden Knights and I'm going to go Canadians. And then winner being I think it's going to be the Vegas Golden Knights. I think they're going to win a second championship here such a short time. So, hey, I mean, obviously they know how to work the GM and everything like that. I believe they fired their head coach and brought in a new guy, like not a new guy. Tortorella's been there or he's been in the league coaching for a while, so they brought him in. So that should be a good one. But yeah, it should be a good NHL playoff from what I've been seeing and kind of hearing here. So, and now we're gonna move into another Detroit team, the Detroit Tigers. They finally won a game yesterday. They played two games yesterday, which I wish they didn't. So the first game they were winning going into the ninth inning, and unfortunately, in Detroit fashion, not just the Detroit Tigers, but in Detroit sports fashion, blew it in the ninth and lost that game. So that was our eighth loss in a row for that one. Then the later game of the doubleheader, they ended up winning, so they finally ended that streak, which we needed because this team is going nowhere fast. I mean, let's see where they are in the standings. Obviously, probably at the bottom. And again, thank you guys for tuning in on both TikTok and YouTube today. I'm using a new software, so I was kind of worried if it didn't work or not, but we're looking good so far. So, so we are last in the Central. We are 21-33, 2-8 in the last 10 games, and I think it's even worse than that. Um, yeah, I don't know what. I mean, this team needs a lot of help. Obviously, we have injuries, which you can't predict injuries, so that's unfortunate. Um, but yeah, they need to do something. With the pitching, they have Scooble out, Verlander's out. Can't watch the Tigers. Not even worth my time. Yeah, I honestly, I don't blame you because, like I said, there's nothing for them to show. There's nothing to show for them. They're not really a fun team to watch. I've watched a couple games here and there. Um, obviously with Scooble and all that stuff going on, Verlander, I feel bad for him. This is supposed to be kind of his like farewell tour. And he's been out and injured. So kind of sad on that one. Um, Valdez, I think he's finally coming back after his suspension. What is up, guys, over at the PFC Network? They commented over there on TikTok. Thank you guys for joining the stream. Excited to be on with you guys tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, these Tigers need a lot of help. I'm thinking Scooble's probably gone. I know they said that he's kind of working his way back to being healthy. He's looking good. He's on the right path. So we will see how that goes. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, sad with the Verlander thing because this was supposed to be his farewell tour. Scooble, hopefully if we do trade him, we get a bunch of assets and young players and everything, kind of build up the farm system. So I'm excited for that. It's, it'll be sad to see him go, but it seems like everybody plays decent in Detroit, and then we ship them out, and then they become even better. So I can't imagine how this is going to go with Scooble. So, but yeah, like I said, they blew the game on Sunday. I believe they're playing now tomorrow night. Let me pull this up. Yes, tomorrow 6:40 against the Angels, um, who really are just as bad as us. So, it's kind of sad to see, like I said, looking at the standings here, like this is an easy division to be, at the top end. I mean, we're worse than the Chicago White Sox. I mean, I sorry to say it, all the Chicago fans out there, but the Chicago White Sox are better than the Detroit Tigers this year, and they lost like 102 or 104 games last year. So we need to get it together. But yeah, I'm very worried about this Detroit team. Um, I did see somewhere that they said, is it possible that AJ Hinch is on the hot seat? Last week we talked about Dan Campbell being on the hot seat. Is it time for another coach to be on the hot seat? I mean, obviously we made the playoffs the last 2 years, but hey, we got bounced early and they need to figure something out. So hopefully Detroit can figure all that out as well and go from there. So yeah, so I'm hoping. I think if I don't know. I'm worried too that like going into All-Star break, I know it's still a couple months away, but like if we're not looking good at All-Star break, I think they're just going to give up and we're going to have to look for next year. But for those that are in here, both on TikTok and YouTube, do you guys think that AJ Hinch should be fired, or do you think we should give him another year to run it back and hopefully, because of the injuries and everything, he might be able to turn this team around? Probably be a little bit shorter of an episode. Like I said, I'm still not feeling the greatest. I got work tomorrow, busy day tomorrow, work, and then like I said, the sports reel. But yeah, I mean, I'm starting to enjoy this Monday Night Live, and I appreciate everybody coming on and commenting. I mean, this is the most comments I've had out of all episodes, so I'm definitely feeling the support and the growth of everything. Um, so excited to continue to do this, and hopefully, you guys can watch every Monday night at 9 p.m. We are one win up on the Rockies. Oh, jeez. I'd be giving Hinch one more year. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can see it. I mean, like I said, injuries, you can't predict injuries. Hinch deserves another year, but they need more talent offensively. Yeah, and I feel like that was kind of going into this season was what we needed. We needed some bats. We needed somebody to score some runs and everything like that. Obviously, um, they kind of looked at pitching this year and helped them in that. Well, tried to help them in that in the beginning of the offseason. Now with all the injuries and everything, but yeah, I mean, okay. So you guys are thinking give him another year. Give him another year. He's a good manager. Okay. Yeah, no, I can see where you guys are going with that. Tigers offense is awful. Yes, I agree. I don't even but we knew that going into that. That's what they needed was like I said, the bats. We needed somebody to score. We were leaving too many people on base last year and the year before. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they can figure it out. So, but another question I have for you guys is we'll go back to basketball. Who do you guys think the Pistons should be getting out of those people that I listed? Kyrie, Michael Porter Jr., Kawhi Leonard, Laurie Markkinen. Um, who do you guys think in that list of people best fits the Detroit Pistons next year? And do you see us kind of I feel like I said the Kyrie and Kawhi thing is we're kind of giving the um do we give the future away in order to get one of those guys, or do we kind of get a Laurie Market and Michael Porter Jr. where you're not giving up too much of the future, and you're still kind of in a win now mode? Rest your voice, get some. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. This sickness has been way too damn long. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. Today's probably the best I've felt, but I think it's finally because the weather is nice outside. But it's been going on. It's be just over a week. Last Monday, I got sick. So ever since the Pistons lost, I've been sick. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I felt like this one was not a very good episode. So sorry on that. But MPJ or Laurie Markkinen need either a stretch 4 or 5. Okay. Yes, I agree with that. I think those are a cheaper route to go. Um, I definitely think that'd be easier. I think it's the cheaper route. They definitely can score more. I mean, Kawhi obviously is a defensive phenomenon. But the only problem I see like with him and Kyrie is they both have to have the ball in their hand, which I'm like, okay, that kind of helps Cade a little bit, but I want Cade. I feel like Cade needs to be the number one, and we need a number two for Cade. So that's why I feel like I agree with what you're saying there, Brett, with the MPJ or Laurie Markkinen type deal. I think that will definitely help us out a lot better. Alrighty, well, like I said, tomorrow, if you guys could tune in to the Sports Real podcast at 6:45 Eastern time, I will be live in studio with those guys. Super excited to be there. I was honestly, I unfortunately was supposed to be there last week, but because of the sickness, I did not. So since I am feeling a little bit better, I will be hanging out with those guys tomorrow. So check that out, 6:45 on YouTube, the Sports Real podcast. And over on my channel next week, June 1st, which I can't believe it's already June next week, 411 podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern time here, Monday, on the Catching Up with Cody live channel. Super excited. I am loving doing the lives and everything. Appreciate the support both from YouTube and TikTok. Going to be doing that every week as well to kind of grow the channel and everything. Thank you guys for commenting. If you guys could, I have my socials down here. Catching Up with Cody. Like I said, we are live every Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you guys could give me a like, follow, subscribe, everything like that. Scan the QR code here that is popping up on the screen. I would appreciate it if you guys could share that out to your friends. Like I said, give me a like. Check out the videos. I try to post at least once a day, trying to grow that a little bit more. With the sickness, I just was kind of feeling bland. But with doing these lives and everything, I'm going to for sure post more. So please, like I said, scan that QR code, and that will take you to all my social medias. And I would appreciate if you guys could check those out. So thank you guys again for catching up with Cody. It is always a blast. Keep up the good work, Cody. Can't wait for your episodes soon. yes, we'll definitely be having you on for sure, Zach. I'm excited for that one. Um, but yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been another episode live at the Catching Up with Cody podcast. Can't wait to do it next week. 411 podcast, June 1st, 9 p.m. You know where to go. YouTube, TikTok. Thank you guys so much.